Hey guys, Cameron Walker here, your favorite Huntsville realtor. Today I'm bringing you the real estate market report and update for Huntsville for summer of 2023. I know a lot of you follow my channel and you've seen previous updates. Usually they're about 3 to 4 months apart. I like to do them on roughly a quarterly basis. But there's been enough change in the market and when the dynamics and what's going on that I decided to make this one 2 months after the last one. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about trends I'm seeing from the MLS, things I'm seeing out when I'm showing homes, making offers, and negotiating offers with my clients. And then we're also going to talk about how to best position yourself as a buyer, especially if you're looking to move in the next 2 to 3 months. So, this is accurate and timely information, which is what my channel is all about, giving you accurate and timely information so you can make an informed decision when it comes to your time to move to Huntsville. So, if that's what you're looking for, subscribe to this channel. All right, first let's talk about the trends. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about my concern for my last market update. Inventory levels were my big concern then. I was worried because we had relatively flat demand, but we had a decrease in the number of listings that we would eat into that inventory that we built up over the winter. Good news is, towards the late stages of May, end of May, we did see an uptick in the amount of homes going on the market. Now, these were almost all resale homes, existing home inventories, because we saw a nosedive in the number of new construction homes on the market. Now, if you look on the MLS today, there's still a lot of new construction homes out there, and that's great. And I'm not saying there aren't. There are not a lot of new ones coming on the market. So we're seeing a decrease in the number of listings there, whereas we saw a slight uptick in the number of existing homes. So overall, it was an uptick, when you combine the two, which is some welcome relief, and I'll take anything I can get. But I don't want it to paint the wrong picture. So another number and stat that we track are days on market. And this can be a little misleading depending on which one you look at. If you look at average days on market, we're still kind of high compared to the last several years. We're at about 30 days, average days on market when you look at the whole area around Huntsville. Pockets of that, like Madison, Huntsville proper, are a little lower. But the median days on market are just 8. That's getting down to levels we saw in 2020 and 2021, where we saw it ebb and flow between like 3 to 7 days. Like we're really dangerously close to that. And it's like, well, what gives, right? Buyer demand steady. We actually saw an uptick in listings. Average days on market are way up here. Why are the median days so low? Well, remember the median days, half are below that, half are above. That's what a median is. Versus the average is impacted by things on the really low end, but also things that go way out here on the deep end of things. So those are homes that have been on the market for quite a while. So there's really three sellers out there right now. And there are those people that are pricing their homes accurately for what they have to offer. Be that newer homes, recently renovated homes, homes that are in great condition, homes that are in neighborhoods, parts of town, school districts where people really want to be, or they're in a situation where like they got a lot of acreage or they back to natural areas or water. Those homes, so long as they're priced appropriately, are selling in less than a week on average. So those homes are, they could go under contract on day one, day three. They could have multiple offers, not 20 plus like we used to see, but several offers, right? So they're more competitive. They're not as likely to give you discounts for, repairs, things like that, or make unnecessary repairs that aren't included in the contract. On the other extreme end of things are people that have priced their home out of the market. It's older, it needs a lot of updating. It may have been updated before, but it may need to be updated again. It's not in great condition. It's got an older roof that's about to fail, or older HVAC systems, things like that. And these people are just not in tune with the market. I've seen homes, and the homes at the higher end of the price range are particularly egregious, but it does span the entire price range. I've seen homes priced at $1.3 million that took a $200,000 price cut that are still at least 200, 250 above market value for what they're asking. And these are nice homes in nice areas. They're not falling down. You can move into them today, but they need a ton of updates. Matter of fact, I have clients right now, we're under contract on another home, but we were in negotiations and offers with one of those, and the sellers just would not get realistic. And their home's been on the market for almost a year. Come to find out, it's been listed 3 times over the last 10 to 12 years, and it's always been above the market value. And I'm seeing that more and more. I'm seeing people that I don't know, they just don't need the money. They got an emotional attachment to the home or the community or what have you, but for some reason, they're not pricing their homes realistic to what the market value is, and they're unwilling to get there. If you're priced 20 or 30% above the market value, you make a 5% decrease, great, you're still way over the market value. And then they're unwilling to negotiate on any kind of repairs or items like that So it gets even more challenging. So those sellers are dragging those average days on markets way out. They have much more marginal impact on that median price, or median days on market, right? So the middle, what we're seeing is sellers that maybe got out a little bit ahead of the market. They wanted to test it. They went 5% over, or maybe their house would be priced appropriately if it were fully updated, but it's not. So those folks are going on the market, and within a week, they're taking a price decrease. And it's usually significant compared to like how far off they were from the market values. So if they're $10,000, $20,000 over, they are bringing it down 10 to 15, let's say. So that's been a good, I like seeing that. That's people trying to make the most money off the sale of their home, but being realistic about what we're going to offer on it, right? The other group in that is people whose houses are falling out of contract due to inspection related items. I cannot tell you the number of homes that I've either gotten under contract or shown or made offers on recently. They either had a roof that was a month old, or they're in the process of installing one. I showed a house 2 days ago that had a pallet of shingles on the driveway waiting for the roofing crew to get there. And this house had already been under contract twice. What happened is, during the inspection period, they found the roof needed to be replaced, and those buyers walked. Now, I don't know if that's exclusively the reason they walked, but it's certainly, I'm sure, added into it, right? And the seller's doing the right thing. They're replacing the roof, going back on the market. But they, roofers don't just show up tomorrow. It takes a month, 2 months, 3 months to get on their calendar. And then, of course, you want the warranty. You want to make sure they're using a quality roofing company, things like that. So I've seen a couple of houses like that where the deal fell out and the seller wound up having to put a new roof on it. And I have one of those under contract right now. We're going to closing next week. So I have another house under contract. They got a new roof within the last 30 days. So I am starting to see more of that. But remember, these are the homes I got under contract with clients who are looking for people who have priced their home appropriately for what they're offering. So these homes are going to be a little bit on the higher end when you're comparing them to comps because they've done those updates. They've replaced the HVAC. They've replaced all the carpet. They've updated the kitchen, whatever it may be. They've taken those steps and renovated the home. Now, remember, these aren't cheap flips. Cheap flips, whole different ballgame. These are people that renovated a home like they were going to live in it. Maybe they did. Maybe they renovated it 3 years ago. Now their situation changed and they're ready to move on. So 3 types of sellers out there. People are pricing their home appropriately for what they have. People at the extreme end who are just unrealistic, not willing to take offers that are really in the ballpark. And even when they take price decreases, they're still above the market. And then the third kind of sweet spot in the market is people that may be a little bit above, but they're willing to be reasonable, either reduce their price, make repairs throughout the negotiations. Just remember, some of those repairs aren't going to fit within a 30-day window, from contract to closing. All right, so those are our 3 types of sellers. So what are we seeing on the buyer side? How can you prepare yourself and be in a position to buy a home if you're looking to buy a home the next 2, 3, 4 months, right? Number 1 is preparedness. I can't tell you how many times people come here and they just want to do an area tour, see a few homes, get an idea, and they find a home that they fall in love with. It's the lot, it's the house style they want, it's the school district they want, it's close to their church or wherever else, what's important to them, the pool, and they're not in a position to buy. They either have a home to sell and it's not ready to go, or they haven't selected an agent to list it, or they haven't done a pre-approval process. They want to use some major bank that's only open 9 to 4 Monday through Friday, and we're trying to make this offer on Saturday or Sunday night. And I've run into this a few times, and I do prep people and I do warn them, like, hey, you want to be in a position, I even ask straight up, are we coming just tour homes, or is there potential we're going to make an offer? Because how I prep you to do either one is going to be determined on an answer and what you want to do. I can't read your mind. I have to ask, right? So if you think there is the possibility that you might want to put an offer on a home, even if it's slight, what I want you to do, already have your listing agent picked out. If you can't find one, I'll find one for you. Already have those repairs and things done on your home that you're going to need to do when you list your home. So that if we find that right home, even if your home's not listed, we could buy it contingent upon your home selling because we know it's ready to list. You have your agent, your pricing, your repairs are done, or they're minimal and can be done within a week, right? The other stretch is, as I mentioned, the financing piece. Like, have your financing lined up when you come down. I'm not a stickler for requiring pre-approval or proof of funds before we go show homes, unless I get a sense that we need to. But I am a stickler for doing it when we submit an offer, because no idiot's going to take an offer on a house without proof of funds that you can actually buy it. And when do we go see homes on the weekend? When are banks closed on the weekend? Now, I have local lenders. They work 7 days a week. Sometimes it feels like 24 hours a day. And I can certainly put you in touch with them to get a pre-approval. But I'm not going to leverage those relationships and burn that bridge with somebody who has no intention of using them, right? So if you're married to Wells Fargo or Bank of America or whatever, get that pre-approval letter before you come here if you think there's any chance you're going to make an offer on a home. Now, once again, I have plenty of people come here do area tours with no intentions of buying. Great. You're not the ones I'm talking to. It's the people that might buy that need to know that. The other thing I want to caution you on is to have a broader window of when you're looking to either go under contract or close. And here's why. Remember that 8 days, median days on market, right? That is a narrow band of inventory at any given time, right? It's a very narrow band, and everybody wants to be in it. So that perfect house that comes along that's backs to the right thing, or it's in the right school district, or it's the right size and the right price range, you're not the only one looking for it. And those are those houses that are selling in 1 to 3 days, 7 days max, and they're potentially getting multiple offers, right? So that house may come on the market in July. It may not come back on again until October, right? So if you're here in July and we think we may want to move forward, if we find that exact red house, you need to be prepared for that, right? Like if you don't want to double up on your mortgage payment, or you don't want to double up on your rent, or you're waiting on something else, see what you can massage in your life to make things work so that if the right house does come along, we can jump on it quickly. Because if we wait and we drag our feet, or we wait a month or two, it may not come back in that area, And then we're looking at second best. Is it second best area? Is it second best price point? Is it second best amenities, layout, whatever second best is to you? That may be what we're looking at, because while inventory is higher, that band of inventory that makes sense is still very narrow and very much in demand. So just want to paint an accurate picture for you. I'm not trying to rush you into doing something you don't want to do or that's not the right fit for you. But if you can position yourself where it doesn't feel like a rush, I think that's a good move. Because then you don't have to pull the trigger on it. If that house isn't there, or you get there and you decide it's not right, no harm, no foul. But you positioned yourself so that you could take advantage of the market if it, that opportunity presents itself. So, we want to look at, making sure your home to sell and that situation's taken care of, making sure you broaden your window where, you can be on either side of moving sooner or later, and making sure that you're taken care of there. So what are some other things that we're seeing? So I see a lot of buyers coming into town. Either their house is already under contract and hasn't sold yet. They're unsure where they want to move. I have people that are looking like at crazy different houses. They'd be fine with this little like shotgun style house that's 10 feet apart from its neighbor, or they'd be fine on 5 acres at like a hacienda, like or a state style house. And there's even, different points in between, they'd be fine. And so it's more about that feel when the right house comes along that they really want, what have you. So, and they're not moving because they, got to get their kid in school by August. No, like time's on their side, right? So those people, they'll rent either short term or long term and wait for the right house to come along, or wait on a new build or something like that. And that's great. So short term rental options, you're looking 30 to 90 days typically is what we would say. There are more of those available this year than there have been in previous years, so do have people able to get a hold of them. And they're extremely useful. And let's say you found a house at 30 days in. Well, remember, like it takes 30 days to close on a house generally, unless you're cash or some other situation. And then you don't have a payment the first month you close. You don't have a payment the next month. It's actually 2 months after. Now, 2 months is a little bit of a misnomer. If you close on the 30th of 1 month, it's going to be like 32 days till your first payment's due, right? But it does get you outside of paying rent and mortgage at the same time. A little different if you decide to go long term. So I have a lot of people that do come in, they rent long term. That's great. If it's the right fit for you, I'm never going to talk you out of it. I do want you to understand the consequences of doing so, though. Some people make that decision because they think prices are going to drop over the course of the next year. The market dynamics are not in your favor. Nobody has a crystal ball, but based on demand, based on where interest rates are now, and based on the limited supply of homes coming on the market, if anything, it's going to go up to the upside. I'd be really surprised if prices really dropped. Now, that said, I think the most likely thing to happen is for prices to stay within a band of 5 to 10% of where they are now, up or down, so a 10% band in aggregate, right? So if they exceed that 10%, it's a bit of a surprise up. If they exceed it down, it's a big surprise down. I think it's far more likely to surprise on the upside than on the downside. Now, that is subject to seasonality. If you're here and you're going to buy in November, great. You're buying at the rock bottom of the market, November and December. So you're more likely to get advantageous pricing there. But if you rent in June and you're going to buy again the following June, well, you're going to be right in the thick of what you are today. And that $450,000 house is not going to cost $350,000 next year. It might cost $445,000. It might cost $475,000. So, and then you're subject to interest rate risk then. I have no idea where interest rates are going to go. I don't know if they're going to go up, go down, stay flat. Like, I can't predict it. There are a lot of indicators out there, and unfortunately those indicators both up and down. And so when that happens, like, my default is kind of think about it being the same for the most part. And if I'm a cautious person, I'm going to think they're going up a little bit, right? Just to hedge against that, and kind of have that in my mindset. So, like, if they go down or they stay flat, it's a positive for me, but it's not detrimental to me if they go up, because I already banked on that happening, right? So, and that year-long interest rate risk, I mean, year and a half ago, that was 4 percentage points, and if you watch my videos for I harp on this all the time. A 1% increase in interest rate corresponds to a 10% decrease in buying power. And when rates jumped 4% or a little bit more over the course of 2022, we did not see a 40% drop in home values. What we saw was them come up, and then flatten out, around the summertime. And they've pretty much remained within that range since then. And so I would anticipate it being similar going into next year. I don't see any factors that are going to drive it one way or the other. So again, you want to position yourself. If you're selling a home, be ready to do so when you come out to look, if you think there's the possibility that you're going to buy a home. 2, expand your time horizon. Get yourself in a position where you can do so, where you're not going to hurt yourself financially or make a poor decision, but also where you can take advantage of the market if that house in that narrow band winds up on the market while you're here, or shortly before or after, right? And then the third option is third thing you need to know is how to prepare yourself in the event that you do need to wait to buy a home. Short-term leases are great options because you're still active in the market and you can still take advantage of what's going on out there, but you have the leisure of time to do it. Long-term rentals can be great options as well, as long as it's a right fit for you and your situation and your mindset's right. Just don't go into it thinking next year things are going to be significantly better, either in pricing or interest rate, because the likelihood of that happening is very low. So if you got questions, you want to come into town, you want to know more about Huntsville or the surrounding areas, give me a call, text, or an email. I'll be glad to talk to you. Just like in my videos, I'm not high pressure. I want you to do the right thing for you. And all I want to do is be there and be an advocate for you. Make sure you understand the market, what you're getting into, what your options are, and then help you deliver upon those. So thanks again for watching. Bye.